Okay. So up till now, what we did, we installed that H miscellaneous package, and then so why we did so that we can do some imputation. My screen is visible to all of you.
Yeah.
Okay. And we try to do on the Toyo edge with the function mean, and we imputed also, and we saw that that column got filled with the mean value. Now I try to show you that if in a vector, or let's say in a column, there is a NA value, then if we try to compute the mean, it will not come because NA values are there. So during computation, what you can do, you can say NA dot RM is equal to true. That means it will going to remove the NA values, and then after that it can calculate. But in this case, it has already ignored, right? And it has done its job,
The
and
screen, not able to see screen.
my screen is not visible.
You know.
No, visible. It's
Visible,
visible.
visible. It's visible.
Yeah,
Okay,
now. You're fine now.
okay. So this particular function, it automatically calculated by ignoring that NA values, and it imputed over there. Now still we have certain column, like the first one we did on the age. Similarly, we can do on the other column which is there. I think it's there. Um, HP is there, right? HP is there. Kilometer is there, and then there is one more column. Let me check. Fuel type was there. Yeah, fuel type was there. So let's try to do, let's say Toyo. All of you do along with me, Toyo. And on kilometer, let's kilometer column we are doing. And let me check that kilometer. So kilometer column, let's try to impute with the median value. First one we did with the mean value. Let's do kilometer with the median value. Okay, impute. So why we are doing this mean, I mean the age with the mean, and the this kilometer with the median, right? So I'll explain you that one first. The thing is, what we can determine few terms, like we can find out the skewness parameter, and based on the skewness, if that value is coming out to be, certain, like the minus value or the plus value, and depending on that we can do this one. But before that, let me just simply do this impute, and after that, once everything is done, then I will try to explain. Somebody is asking for permission.
So I had a question.
Yes.
Whatever you did for this age column, I had tried similar thing for the other column,
Hmm.
kilometer column. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if I want to undo one column, only show any values in that, it is possible.
So after you imputed, and you can reload the data set again, you will get back
But it
this here.
will also change the values of the previous age column also, no?
Right, it will going to change, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll have to execute all right from beginning. Now I was just
Yes.
thinking if you can do it only on one column.
Acha. So at a time, one column you can do. I mean, at a time, at a one column only we are doing, right?
No, no, I tried already the same with the mean value. Now you're trying with the median value. So I
Acha,
was
all the columns you did with mean value.
so I did only I tried. You did age, and in the break time I tried the
Okay, no issue.
kilometer.
No issue. You can reload that data set again, and then you can try ahead with these two median. Okay, no problem.
Okay, no, I will try it on another column. What you are doing now is since
Okay,
I have already filled in kilometer column, I'll try the median part on the other one, which is showing any values.
okay.
That's okay, but I was just thinking whether it's possible to do just
No,
one column.
reverse we cannot do, but yes, if you want to do that one, then see, before operating on any data set, you should always maintain a copy of that one,
Huh.
and then yeah, then after that you can start. Even though we are actually, unless until we will write in the file, it will not going to write. It will not going to demolish that particular file. So
Okay, sir.
that file will be there still. It is preserved.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. So Toyo kilometer, and here we are trying to I'm selecting a median. Right, I selected the median, and then we can see view Toyo. Kilometer is not changed.
Sir, in your first command, na Toyo $km, M is small. You have to put the M, this M large, capital M.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, now it is changed. So my mistake was there. So now if you see, it is also filled. Similarly, let's do it with the other one also. Okay, so kilometer is done. Now Toyo, and we will also do on HP. Impute Toyo HP, and function I am using median. Okay. Let's do this one also. And I imputed, we can view this one. Age, kilometer, and HP we imputed. So we cannot see any NA values over there. Okay. Now the thing is, we have this with the fuel type. So now we'll deal with the fuel type, which is a character type or the categorical kind of variable. I'll comment it. Okay. So let's see first str command, and if I fire this, so if we fire, now it's showing impute all imputed, right? That's okay. And now this column is there. This is the character column. Rest all column were there. We initially also we saw that this particular column only, that is the fuel type, is what? It's a character type. Okay. So this is a character type, and it's not a factor type. Okay. It's not a factor type. It's a character type. Though it's showing different classes like a diesel or petrol. So there are classes, but it's not a factor type. So we have to first convert this character type to factor type. And the second thing, we cannot work with these words and all. So we will going to convert this also into some numbers. Okay, that is called as label encoding. So I'll teach you that one in a moment. Before that, what we can do first, we will going to convert this one into the factor kind of. So by structure, you got this is a character kind of data. Now we will convert this one into factor kind of data.
Mr. Yadav, just sorry to interrupt, but can I ask you what time did you start?
Now only. I mean,
now only, right? Okay.
5, 10,
half a minute or 1 minute.
See, what I did, I just did initially before the break, we imputed only one column, right? That is Toyo A. Now I did Toyo kilometer and Toyo HP. I imputed with median value. These two things I did.
Oh, I think I had no connection because I was just waiting for you 15 minutes and I started listening to you all of a sudden right now.
I came at
realized that
3:35.
you probably
Yeah.
started earlier. So
I
okay.
I came at 3:35.
Just show me the functions. I'll just take them
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
and I think
Yes,
then
yes.
I'll check the recording.
Yes, yes. So what I did, I executed two lines. That is, I try to impute
Okay.
the
All right.
kilometer and the HP
Thank you.
column with this median.
Just a quick question. What? Hello?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear.
Can
We
you hear
can hear.
me?
Oh,
I
Oh,
think he's
Yes,
not
we
getting
can
my
hear.
voice.
yeah.
I think he's not getting my voice.
Can you do one thing? Can you paste the code from before break till here from HMISC?
Acha, acha. Okay. From HMISC one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, did.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So now we saw after firing this str command that there is a character kind of a column is there, and we want to handle that one because there are some blank spaces as seems to be there. Now what we will do, we will convert this particular column to a factor kind of column. So I'll say Toyo, and which column we want to convert. So we want to convert fuel type, and we have to convert to factor. So but we will use this factor function. And if you remember, one of the things is that north, west, east we did, and there we specified the levels also, right? In a similar way, here also we'll do, and along with that, we will also going to provide the labels for these different categories. So Toyo fuel type, which is a column, I'll write Toyo, so fuel type, and then what levels are there in this one. Don't do any mistake in writing this particular levels. If it is in capital or small, you need to write properly. So first is petrol is there in that column. If you see, petrol is there, then there is a diesel. I think spell DIES. Okay, diesel, DIE, sorry, DIE, CL, and then there is one more will be there, CNG will be there, CNG. So you can just check out that column. There are three. One is petrol, second is diesel, and third is CNG. So these are the basically levels are there. What I want to give them a labels like this. So labels I am giving, and this I am giving as 1, 2, and 3. Okay. I'm there, right? All of you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is called as label encoding also. Why? Because in place of this petrol, diesel, and CNG, I am replacing that one with 1, 2, 3 number. Okay, 1, 2, 3 number. For example, all the petrol will be written by 1, all the diesel will be written by 2, and all the CNG will be written by 3. So this is also called as the label encoding. At the same time, it will convert that column to a factor kind of column. So let's fire this. Okay. And let's again fire the str command. Before that, let's see that view Toyo. If you see this column fuel type 2, then Na now is appearing over there. Okay, now we can see the Na over there, and the character values got replaced by the numerical values. All of you can see this one, right? Got?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, could you just show the code once?
Yeah, yeah. I'm going there. So I execute what I did. I just try to convert to factor with the factor function. The first parameter is the column name, and here also left hand side we will have to mention that column name. In that we are imputing, right? We are inserting. So labels we need to specify. So in that column, if you check, there are three labels are there: petrol, diesel, and CNG. Three different categories are there. So I have written there should not be any spelling mistake. So I have written petrol, diesel, and CNG. Then to these particular levels, I want to give labels. So what labels I want to give? I want to give 1, 2, 3 labels, so that basically these character gets converted to this kind of numbers. Okay. Now, what I advise you that whenever you do certain kind of this kind of things, you can do what? You can create a new column, right? You can add a new column in your data set, and there you can add this particular column of the label encoding. So in that way, your this column will also be preserved, right? And then a new column will be added over there, and whatever you want to do, you can do on that particular column. And if you want to remove this column, you can easily remove that column also, and you can have that the label encoding column. So it's up to you. But if normally we deal whenever with the categorical column, we normally do in this way, and we try to encode them into some numerical format so that it will become easier for us for the analysis purpose. Clear, all of you? So in this way we can convert. Now if I fire str command,
So can you show this command again? Means can you just scroll it on the right hand side little bit?
yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So I fired str command, and now you can see the fuel type, which was earlier char type. Now it's what? It's a factor kind of type, factor type, and labels. So labels are 3 basically over there. Okay. So it's specified. Okay. So now we will going to handle this one. We did this label on encoding. Now if you see the so how basically we're going to do. So remember, this is a categorical. You don't try to impute with a mean or median value. Okay, mean and median value will not going to use this. Since this is a categorical, I told you that in a character kind of column we can use the mode. So here we can use the mode, and depending on the frequency of whichever is the mode, it will going to impute with this that particular value. So in this case, I will do what? I will use the mode. So Toyo fuel impute Toyo fuel type. The function I'll use here, mode function. So why I'm using this mode function? Because it is a categorical one, and it will calculate the frequency, right? Depending on the frequency of number of times that term is appearing, depending on that, it will going to consider that as a mode value, and it will going to put over there. So I'll execute this, and let's try to view again. Okay, now see here. So this was the one value which got imputed right now. Maybe this one also, right? So in this way, it will going to impute, right? Depending on the frequency. So I think it has considered two or one, whatever, it will going to impute with that one. So categorical, you can impute with mode value. Okay, till here, all of you done?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now sometimes what happens, for example, again I'll have to go to the database. Let's go. If you see this age column, this age column is there. Now we can see this particular age column, and let's say suppose we want to encode this column as in the label format, like see, this is a age column, so depending on the number of years we can categorize this particular column, this particular vehicle or a vehicle in on the basis of old or new or middle age, that kind of thing, right? And which will going to make more sense if we're going to view that one. So this column I want to convert to let's say latest or middle or the old model in that way. So depending on the number of years, right, which are there. So if I want to do this one, all of you understood what I am trying to say. This particular age column is there. This is regarding the vehicle data, right? So depending on the age, I just want to convert them into the latest model, middle model, and the old model. And for that, I will going to specify the brakes, how many brakes I want. Let's say 3 brakes. So in 3 categories, it will going to convert it by itself. Only it will going to take. And I will going to use one function, that is a cut function. So let me show you. So this is for converting numerical in variable into
Mr. Yadav, I can't hear you actually. I don't know if that's the case with everybody.
everybody can hear. I mean, some issue is there from your side, I think. Now you can hear.
Yeah, we can hear.
I think he's not able to hear. I'll just type for him.
You can do the restart.
Just message him. Sorry. Okay. So, okay, converting numerical variable into a categorical. Let's do this one. So I will try to convert this to age. I will use the cut function, and on which particular column. So Toyo age breaks 3 labels. Now labels I'll going to specify. So labels I'll specify in this way. Let's say latest, middle, and old. Okay. So I'm using a cut function on Toyo age breaks. I've specified 3, and labels I've given as what, latest, middle, and old. So let's fire this. Let's try to view. Just 1 minute. Okay. So if you now seeing this age column, so we are able to see this latest, old, and middle values, right? So by itself, it will going to decide certain boundary, and depending on that, to certain age, it will going to convert to latest. Then after that, the middle, and then it will try to convert to old model. So sometimes we require to do this one also for any numerical column. If you want to change, again, I advise you to, for example, if you want to do this kind of thing, you can add one more column over here. We know how to add the column very easily, right? So we can add one more column over here, and that we can convert this. Somebody is asking for permission. Yeah. Oh, he has written something. I think I have severe problem with the network. I cannot hear anything. Although at least I can see the chat. I will sign out and okay.
Now I can hear you. Yeah. I just
Okay,
signed
now you
back
go.
in.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you can add one more column over there, and probably that you can convert to this kind of a categorical, and then you can view it from there. In that way, you'll be having that column also and this numerical column also, right? So I've shown you, I mean, how to handle these categorical values. You can do what? You can just convert to the factor variable along with the label encoding, and then after that you can just determine the mode, and based on the mode you can just impute it, right? Now what will happen if so I miss that value, right? So what will
Yes.
happen? Yeah, any doubt?
Sir, if right now it has categorized old, latest, and medium based on certain parameters, right?
Mhm.
How do we know that parameters? And if we were to give the parameters, say up to 2 years is latest and 2 to 20 years is middle, or something of that sort?
So actually, normally it divides according to its statistics, right? If we will give the three parts, then it will going to divide into three parts, and it by its own it will decide how many rows or how many till which boundary it will have to select. Clear? So if we just search more in this one, obviously you'll be able to specify the parameters also till where you have to break it. So for example, now there is one more problem. If blindly we will give like this, let's say what I was showing you, for example, this is my data set, and here if we check the fourth value, the first two are 23, 23, 24. Fourth value is missing, I think. I'll have to open some other file. Wait, see in which folder I had. Not this one. Yeah, I think this one will be. So it's the same file. I just want to see the values. Maybe there was here some more values were there, like in the range of which value it has considered, in the range of 44 or that kind of thing, which it has considered as a old value. So what I basically trying to show you, if we will reverse the order, like here first we did what? Latest, then middle, and then the old. And now if we'll do in this way, okay, if we'll try to do in this way, then it will do what? The new mod, the new age, it will give as an old one. For example, the 23, 24, which are the latest model, it will going to categorize as the old one. So it will give in the descending order. So always remember, mention proper this thing, uh, the label, so that the latest one will be given. You will have to put in ascending order. What I mean, you will have to put this in the ascending order so that the labels will be assigned properly. Otherwise, it will reverse this thing, and to latest model, it will going to assign the old. Then the old one will get the latest label. So clear all of you this one? Yes.
Yes.
So it's clear, but if the boundaries are given, why should the hierarchy make a difference?
Because the first label it will consider, and whatever is the first lowest value it will find, to that it will going to assign that particular label.
Okay, no, boundaries are defined by certain conditions. So that should, I mean, what I'm saying, will it match with the hierarchy or will it become random again?
I didn't get your question. I mean, bound. Yeah,
Sorry, I'll just repeat. The
yeah.
initial one, we said latest, middle, and old.
Right, right.
So it gives you as per that norm. Now, if I change the order,
Yes.
will the hierarchy make a difference for it to sort out? Because the boundary conditions are same. Will it not assign it to the same thing as I given in the previous instruction?
So what is does actually? So there are multiple parameters are there in this also in this cut function also. If you see, for
Okay.
example, uh, now I have shown only these three parameters, right? So there can be let's say include lowest, order result equal to false, right equal to true. I mean many parameters are there. You just see later on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Multiple parameters are there. We can specify. But the
Okay.
thing is, if you mention in the reverse order, so to the
Mhm.
lowest value, it will going to assign that particular label first.
Okay. So hierarchy matters.
Yeah, hierarchy matters over here. So what is my suggestion is you always mention in the ascending order,
Okay. Got
right?
it.
So if you mention the ascending, for example, latest first I mentioned, then middle, and then old. So
Mhm.
according to that, it has taken and whatever the lowest value, it will going to assign as the latest, and then the middle and the old, right? So hierarchy, this hierarchy matters.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. So this, I mean, I have shown you along with this one that you may require a few, let's say, one thing I have shown you that the categorical kind of data, how you can handle. So you can handle by the factor, you can convert, but with the help of factor, we are also doing what label encoding. So like there, petrol, diesel, and CNG variable was there, and the category were there. We encoded into 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now you can see the one problem is clearly I am facing, that is I lost my that particular column, right? For example, if I view Toyo, so now I don't have this numerical column and I don't have this as a categorical column, right? So that's why I told you that if you are trying to do this kind of thing, you can add one more column over there, and then this column will be preserved. Okay. Now, the main thing is there. What made me to impute over there in the first age column as a mean, and then the other column as what, a median value. So why I did so, right? Why I did so? Is there any shortcut? Is there anything by which we can just come to know that yeah, we have to impute by mean or we have to impute by median? So all these things we will get by experience, right? The way we're going to process it. So few things I'll just tell you now, and you can use it. So for that um, we will require one package. So now I'll be talking about skewness. We require one moments package. Moments. So all of you, what you can do, you can just search in this particular, in this tab, just check it, moments is there, I think it's there. So you can just click on that checkbox and it will be added. Otherwise you will have to write. So I'll just check on this, it got added, right? If you see here, library moments is got imported. Otherwise what you will have to do, you will have to install it. So you can install like this, install.packages, moments, and after installing it, you just put in the library. So do this one. All of you done? Yes, I'm audible, right?
Yes, you are audible. It's installing.
Yeah, yeah. Till then, and see one slide I was having.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. Okay. Uh, so before proceeding, I'll show you from here. Okay. So what steps basically we have to do in this data analysis? First, data collection. So data collection you can do via various resources. This we have seen that you can, that is job of your data engineer, right? He can collect the data from the, with the IoT devices and all, or even via taking the surveys, right? And then he can do the job of maintenance of that particular data in a proper order. So data storage, till data storage, we can do the stuff. So once the data storage is done, then data cleaning part comes, which we are doing right now. And after data cleaning, there is a data analysis part, right? So these both things we are doing right now. And then after this, there is a visualization part. That means how you can present those things with the different plots and figures. And after that, you can make out the decision. So these are the basically steps. So now I'm coming to this particular concept, that is a skewness. So if you see the middle figure, this is just in the first session I explained you that this is what a normal distribution when it is distributed in a proper proportion from the mean, both the sides. So this is symmetrical distribution where you will find, so in such a kind of distribution you will find that your mean, median and mode value will remain the same. Okay, mean, median, mode value will remain the same in such kind of distribution where the distribution is symmetrical. But if you see at the same time, there is a left hand side and right hand side figure, where in the first figure, if you can see that right hand side, it is skewed. Okay, right hand side, it is skewed. And this particular figure, which is left hand side, it is skewed. So if you talk about the first figure, that is which is skewed at the right side, this since this is skewed at the positive side of the x-axis, let's say, that's called, this is how you can remember. If you consider this as the x-axis, this is as a y-axis, and the moment we will go towards the right, so that is what a positive direction. So where this is skewed, positive side, right? So that's why the name is a positive skewed. So this is a positive skew. So in case of positive skew, your mean is greater than the median. Your mean is greater than, in fact, all mode and median, right? Median is over here. So your mean is greater than the median. Remember this one. When it is a positive, your mean is greater than the median. When it is a left side skew, your mean is smaller than the median. Your mean is smaller than the median. Now, if this kind of distribution is there, so this kind of distribution is like towards the higher value, we are having very less points. For example, if we consider wealth of a people in a country, right? So there are more people with less wealth. So, for example, most of the people are being distributed over here, right? And in wealthier class, a few people are there. So this is what at the positive side it is skewed. Similarly, if you see this particular data, uh, it's a positivity side, more people are being distributed, and the negative side, less people are there. So you can take the example like distribution of grades in a class, like students' grades. So there are more students with the more grades. Okay, students are more with the more grades. There will be few students who may get fail or will be having very less grade. So that is a negative side skew. So we are having this structure of the skewness. We have positively skewed, negatively skewed, and one there is a symmetrical distribution. If such kind of distribution is there, then we can impute with the mean or median, right? It will not going to make any difference. But if the positive skew is there and if the negative skew is there, then it will going to matter, right? So at that particular time, we have to choose by what value we will going to impute. So now we will going to find out first the skewness on the column. So this we have to do in the start only, right? Now in what we did till now, after this kurtosis is also there. Okay, we'll come to this one. So up till now, what I did, I just loaded the data set, right? And then we started with the we removed some of the values, and then we started with the imputing it directly, right? But in the start, only on the columns, if there is a null no, NA values are there, then what you can do, you can fire the skewness function, and then you can check it whether what is the value of that skewness. Okay, so let's fire this skewness. If all of you have installed this thing, all of you are done with this, right? So we can move ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, skewness. And so one more thing. Now our data is filled, right? Data frame is filled. So I'll just execute. So in fact, all of you just execute the first line so that it will again load the values with the deleted one, right? So just execute that one. And now if you see, we got that with the NA, right? Okay. So we got now with the NA. Now what I will do, I will try to find out skewness and Toyo, and on which column, let's say. So first we will going to determine, let's say on the kilometer, let's say on the age. Okay, so we know now there is what NA values are there, right? Now there is NA values are there. So the way mean cannot be calculated, similarly this skewness cannot be calculated if the NA values are there. So we will say that NA dot RM is equal to true. NA dot RM is equal to true. Now we will calculate skewness. It's coming what? It's coming negative. It's coming negative. So remember this thing. Now we will fire on skewness. Sorry. Skewness. Let's say now on kilometer, and I'll say NA dot RM is equal to true. So here we got positive value, and similarly skewness Toyo, and then we had one HP also. NA dot RM is equal to true. And we got the positive value. Yes.
So can you please once again explain what is NA.RM?
So NA dot RM is a remove RM value is equal to true. Okay. So if we will not mention this particular parameter, since in that column age, kilometer and HP there are NA values, because I again loaded that file. So there are this NA values. It will not going to compute, right? So we have to ignore those NA values, and then only it will going to compute. Clear?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So for this one, what we got? For the age, we got negative value, and for these two, we got positive. Even for this one, we got positive. Somebody is asking for permission. So here also we got positive. Remember one thing, when you will get the negative value of skewness, okay, that means that data is positively skewed, and you should remember in this way, if the negative value you are getting, you impute by mean. Okay, impute by mean. And if you are getting positive value of this skewness, impute by median. Okay. So this you can fire in the start only, or you can check what skewness value you are getting. And if you are getting a negative value, okay, then you can substitute by impute by mean. And if you are getting a positive skewness value, then you can impute by what? A median value. Is this clear? Remember this one. Now there is one more concept, that is kurtosis. Okay. There is one more concept that is called as kurtosis. So kurtosis is for basically, now whether we checked, right, whether we checked in a column whether there is an outlier is present or not, right? So that is also our job, right? In the start only we supposed to check before doing anything whether any outlier is present in our column. If outliers are present, that also we can remove, right? So I hope outliers are clear, right? So basically I am saying to detect the outliers. So we have to detect the outliers also, and if outliers are present, then we should have some remedy to deal with those outliers. And this is also very important. Otherwise it will going to affect our data, right? So there is one concept. Let me explain first. Okay, all of you can see my slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kurtosis is nothing but it's used for outlier detection, and it refers to the tailiness of the data related to a normal distribution. So how much your data is tailed. Okay, if there is a long tail, so that means a very deep outliers values are present in that one. So the data is very trailed. So positive value, if basically why I'm showing this, so we will calculate this kurtosis the way we calculated the skewness, and we came to know that if the skewness value is minus, then we will going to substitute as a mean, and if it is coming out to be a positive value, then we will going to substitute by what? Median value. Similarly, if the kurtosis value is greater than 3, so positive or high, I mean, even if the positive values are also there, then also the outliers are present. But normally, if the data set is very big, okay, it's very huge database, and then what we can do, we can see for this 3 value. So if it is greater than 3 value, that means positive or high value kurtosis indicates tails or outliers. So normally, if it is greater than 3, outliers are present. If it is less than 3, then outliers are absent. So we can say in this way. So we can see the kurtosis value. If it is greater than 3, outliers are present, and then you can do certain kind of strategies to remove those outliers. And if the values are less than 3, then there is no issue. You can go ahead with that one. There will be light tails or lack of outliers. Okay, lack of outliers will be there.
So, Omkarshi, where do you get the number 3? Or like, why 3? Why not 1? Or no, why not 10?
So there is one concept that is called the Pearson's kurtosis. Okay, and for Pearson kurtosis for a normal distribution, it has a 0 kurtosis. For example, this one is there, right? This is a normal distribution, and if we try to calculate the kurtosis value for this one, we will get what? A 0 kurtosis. So there is, I mean, that there is no tail is there. What do you mean by tail? Let me explain. So for example, if we have the normal distribution is like this, there is no tail. But if we are having, okay, like this, okay, so not cross, but this kind of tail, this is called a tail, right? A long tail is there. So that kind of a tailiness is there in the data set. That means outliers are present, and there is a specific value. So if it is a greater than 3, then definitely a large amount of outliers are there. You should do something. If it is less than 3, then very few outliers are present, so it's okay. And if it is 0, that means this is exactly for the this normal distribution. So we don't have any outliers in that one. Whether you understood this concept? So so as a for the pre-processing, what we should do, we should always check before going ahead for the kurtosis value, and then depending on the kurtosis value, we can fire the our command. Okay, I was I was telling for zero kurtosis zero value, it's actually exact three value, right? It's exactly three value. So less than that there is no outliers, and greater than that there are lots of outliers are present. Less than 3 there are lack of outliers, and exactly 3, that means that is a normal distribution. So that is one of the calculation given by Pearson's, right? So if you read about the Pearson kurtosis, you will get this particular theory. So we will going to utilize this theory. So Carl Pearson has given a lot of things. Similarly, this Pearson is given kurtosis value also, which normally used in the statistics a lot. So let's see here. What we will do, we will just simplify the kurtosis on the let's say now I'll just simply give one example, let's say first. So I'll declare one vector, and let me demonstrate you the what will be the use of this kurtosis. So for example, I am having values like minus 90, then minus 50, then let's say 1 to 10. Okay? This is 1 to 10 number, then 20, 30, and I'm having 100. These are my values. I'm making one vector, numerical vector, and if I want to see this, so these are my values. This is 1 to 10, so 1 to 10. So 1 to 10, 20 even we can consider, right? But obviously this 30 seems to me outliers, even 100, obviously this is outlier. And here minus 50 and minus 90 are outliers in this particular case. And where this seems to be a normal data, our normal data, right? So now in this case, if we want to see, if let's fire first the mean. Mean of this example will be what? So mean is coming 4.33. Let's get the median also. So median is coming 6. Okay, median is coming 6. Now what we will do, we will calculate the skewness. The skewness is coming what? Minus, right? So if there are outliers present and we will calculate the skewness is coming minus, then what we will do, we will going to substitute by what? Mean, right? We're going to substitute by mean. But you know that if the outliers are present and the mean will not going to work out, right? Because the outliers will have the effect on the mean value. So we should do something to remove that outliers. Okay. So now if we fire this kurtosis, what values we are getting? We are getting 5.33, right? So that means in this particular example, the outliers are present, right? Outliers are present, and we're supposed to do certain things about these outliers. All of you got this? Whether you understood this thing?
Yes.
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 Yeah. So before imputation, right? Before you are imputing with the mean or median value, you first always check whether there is a outliers are present or not. If outliers are present, you should remove those outliers. You should process it, and then after that you can find out the skewness, and then you can move ahead with the imputation of the mean or median value. So I hope this is clear. Now the thing is how to remove the outliers. So there are lots of different techniques available for this, for the removal of the outliers. So out of that, one technique is there. So for example, I'll show you. Though we have not seen the okay, first let's see one statistical approach directly by using the quantile approach. So what we can do here, in the first session I was mentioning about the interquantile range, right? So the same thing only we will going to determine over here. So what we will do, we will first fire the range. Let's say I'll give the title as outlier symbol. Now I'm taking the same example on this example only. It's the same example. I say range. So it's telling me the range is minus 90 and 100. Okay, it's giving me the range as what? Minus 90 and 100. Now I'll do what? I'll take the, in the queue, I'll get the quantile value. Quantile of this example. So let's see the Q value. So in the Q value, I got these values: the first quantile, second quantile, third quantile, and fourth quantile. Okay. So basically, I got the quantile value. In the first session, we saw how to get the quantile values. Okay. So after you got this one, what we will going to do? I will calculate IQR. This is interquantile range, and for this one we don't have to do anything. There is a direct function available, IQR, and to this particular function you can just give your example, your column, and fire this and just try to print the value. It's coming 7. It's coming 7. So how it's coming 7? It's very obvious. If you see the third quartile is what? Third quartile is 9.5 value, and the first one is 2.5. So the interquartile range is being calculated by subtracting from the third one and this first one. So if you subtract 9.5 minus 2.5, you will get 7. So this is what it's showing you. Clear, all of you, this one? Right? All of you got this?
Sir, it's subtracting fourth with second, right?
From this 75% minus this 25% value.
So it will
Third minus 1. Third minus 1.
third minus 1. Okay. So it will always be third minus 1.
Yes, interquartile range. Okay. Yeah. So after this, now we got this interquartile range, and now with this interquartile range, we can do one thing. Let's print the value of. So in the queue, I got basically all the values, right? I got basically all the values. If we try to print Q2. So Q2 is nothing but the Q1 was I'm talking about this particular variable, otherwise the Q1 is this one. So I'm talking about this variable. So here Q1 is this one, and this Q2 is what? 2.5, and then this Q3, it will give me what? I'm indexing it, and then I'm getting the value. So Q4, if I'll say, so it will give me 9.5. It will give me 9.5. Now why I'm doing this one? Because I require this value and this value. Yeah, I require this 25% value and this 75% value, and I'll going to set the upper limit and lower limit for my data. So only that much, that within that particular range the data should be present in my column. Beyond that data and beyond that data and below that data, basically I will going to eliminate it. So it is found that based on the statistics that so once I'll discuss the box plot, I'll show you that one, that the upper limit is separated by the 1.5 times the interquartile range. Similarly, the lower boundary is also separated with the 1.5 times the interquartile range. And how we can calculate that? So let me set the upper boundary as what I will set, that Q4 plus.
So
Yes.
So while we were calculating IQR, you said it will be third minus 1. And
Yes.
while we are indexing, it's second and fourth, which is giving 25 and 75. So
Yeah, so see, I told you that this value, this 75% value, 9.5 value minus 2.5 value, this will give you the in IQR, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I have taken this into one of the variable, and it's basically a list variable. So its index will start from here 1, 2, 3. Clear? So that's what it's doing 1, 2, 3 from here because I have taken in one of the variable. You can take in any other variable, let's say A or B, if it is getting confused, right? So normally we talk this one as a quantile 1 and this one as a quantile 3. And it is subtraction of what? Quantile 3 minus this quantile 1. Clear? So don't get confused by this Q. This is this is a list and I'm indexing that. Basically I'm subtracting this, I'm extracting this value only. The 25% value, and Q2 will give me 25% value, and this Q of 4 will give me what? This 9.5 value. Whether this is clear? So with the help of indexes, I'm accessing this value.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, why I am doing this? Because after this is my this is this Q4 index. Now after this, till where I want to set the upper limit for my data, so I am setting that Q4 plus 1.5 times IQR. Okay, 1.5 times IQR. Similarly, the lower limit, so this I will execute. Similarly, the lower limit I can set. So here I can say low, and to lower limit, how I can set, I can use this particular value. So this is my Q of 2. So I am saying Q of 2 plus 1.5 times 1.5 times sorry, minus, we have to do from there minus. Okay, lower limit, low Q of 2 minus 1.5 times IQR. Execute this. So let's check the up and low value. Up value is what? Up value is it's 20, and the low value is minus 8. Up value is 20 and low value is minus 8. Now once we got this value, then there is a main task. So why we calculated this first of all, right? Because we had this data, and this data is having the outliers. How we came to know? We fired the kurtosis and we got the value greater than 3. So we came to know that there are outliers present and we have to do something for this one. And this is one strategy in which we can calculate the IQR, and we can set the upper limit and the lower limit for our data boundaries. And within that boundaries only we're going to select our data. So we can fire the this quantile and we can get all the values. And then what we can do in the, let's say any parameter, any variable, you can get the quantile values, and then based on the indexing you can set the upper limit depending on the IQR value. So 1.5 times IQR upper limit to the this particular 75%, and to the lower limit 25% minus 1.5 into IQR. So we have set the limit. Now we will execute the main command. So what we will do, example.
Sir, a quick question here. Why do you take 1.5 times?
Yes, I'll explain that one. So statistically, it is I mean, practically the people have got that 1.5 times the upper whisker level is there, and that we will show, that I will show once I'll plot the box plot. Okay, one figure is there. So after this only I will going to plot that one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say in the example, now what I will do, in the example I will going to use the subset, and let's say I'm taking our data, that is the example, and then here in the bracket, what I'll do, my example data should be less than up boundary, and so I'm using the and, okay, operator, and then I'm saying example should be greater than low. So my data should be greater than low and less than up. Clear, all of you? So I'm setting the boundary. My data should be, yes. Any doubt in this? Okay. So before execution of this one, let me show you our example data. It's like this. It's like this. Okay. Now after processing, let's process in this way subset, and now check the example. What you can see. So since I have used upper limit up was 20, so less than 20, so it's considering till 10, and greater than low was I think maybe 50 or something. 8 was there, minus 8 was there. Minus 8 was there, I think. So it has selected from 1 to 10, and you can clearly see that outliers we have removed it completely. Clear, all of you? And now, whether this is clear, all of you?
Yes.
Yeah. And now again, let's fire. Yeah.
So your outliers was minus 90 and 100, right?
100 was definitely there. Even 20 and 30 also you can consider, right? If you're considering the 20 in the normal data, then obviously 30 will be there, because normal data is being distributed from 1 to 10 actually. Clear?
Sir, how do we know which one is the outlier?
So that's what we will do this particular process, and outliers will be removed. If there is any sudden change in the value is there and it's a big value is there, then we can say that is an outlier. Clear? So for example, now the values are being distributed. Let's say all the students are there, and their normal height we know that maybe from the range 5 feet to, let's say, 6 feet. This is the normal range. And suddenly, if anybody 8 feet will come or 10 feet will come, we will consider that as an outlier. Clear?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is how we can remove the outliers. We also have one technique like by using the box plot also we can do that one. So, but for yeah, what I was showing that after this we can now fire the range command. Okay. Let's say example. Now the range is what, 1 to 10, and then let's get the mean. So mean is 5.5. Median value is also 5.5. Let me check the cutoffs. Now if you check the cutoffs value is 1.77, right? So if it is 1.77, it's less than 3. So you can go ahead. There are very lack of outliers, so there are no outliers present in our data set, and you can go ahead with the imputation part. And in the imputation, you can just find out the skewness. So you can say like this: skewness of example. So skewness, it's giving 0, right? So it's up to you. I mean, you can choose the median value or the mean value. If you see here, the mean and median values are same over here. So it's an exact normal distribution, right? You got the point. It's an exact normal distribution where we are having this case, where the mean, median, and mode are same, right? Mean, median values are same. So this is exact symmetrical distribution. So if you see here, the mean value will be what? Mean value will be, let's say, 5, and the first 5 values are being separated properly from the median, and another 5 values, or let's say 4 values, are being separated properly from the median. So all the values are properly spread from the median, and that is called as normally distributed, and that's why this distribution is symmetrical distribution.
Sir, if it is normal distribution, so then the cutoffs should have come 3, right?
Yes, exactly. It should have come with the 3, but it's okay if it's showing the below the 3 value also, right? Maybe for the more data it will require, and then the values will come. Clear? So I have taken only few values only. So many times we'll take the small example, and this may also come some other value, and if the data is the data range is high, I mean more data are there, then the values may come properly. Okay.
So basically, what you use the function kurtosis for is to check, just to check, right? Just
Just
like
to check, yeah, just
test.
to check. Yeah, test.
Okay. Okay. Can you please show the slide again for the kurtosis that you had in the presentation?
Yeah. So it shows that in that particular there are tails are present or not. So in our data there is no tails are present, right? So if the values are less than, there will be light tails or the lack of outliers are there.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you just later search on this one, Pearson's. Okay, in this also 2-3 types are there. Anyway, when you will search on this one, Pearson's kurtosis, then you will get the more information about this one. Pearson's kurtosis, and
Right.
even the kurtosis topic also, because it is very useful for detection of the outliers. So you must visit this particular topic, kurtosis. So after this particular lecture, you'll be having the entire week. So please gather the information regarding kurtosis, skewness, and all, and how to basically handle the different kinds of missing values and all. Now, today I gave a very simple example, right? I first uh, loaded the file, which was purely clean file, right? Now the file may contain some garbage values, some quotation marks are there, question marks are there. So we also have to deal such kind of values first of all, right? During the loading only, we should ignore those kind of value. So there are options once you will going to load the file over here. In this we have many parameters, right? We have many parameters, like there is a header parameter which you can mark as true or false. Then there are some values like na.rm value also you can specify. Then the quotation marks, or let's say question mark, all those values we can ignore from there during the loading only. So such value will be ignored during the loading and we can get the clean data. So all those steps are remaining. You can go ahead with the different files and you will find, and you can also see the what are the different parameters are there in this read.csv function. So you can read more about the read.csv function. You can go ahead with the other parameters also. Now one technique I shown you to handle these outliers. There is one more technique. Of course there are multiple techniques available, so on the net you will find many techniques. There is one more very famous technique, that is by using the box plot. So you can this is a GUI, right? We can see the plot and then we can take the decision. So if you just plot it, obviously it's little bit differences between will be there between this one and that one. The box plot may have some value which may be a outlier, right? But moreover it will going to separate it out, and this IQR is more accurately it's doing. Let's check with the box plot what it will do. If I say box plot correctly, and let's view the, I mean let's say our name is what, example, right? This one, example data. So I've taken the same one. Let me copy again. I'll run this, and then I'm running this box plot example. So this graph I'm getting, I'll just zoom it. So if you see here, all of you can see this graph, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you see here, below two values are there, and then above two values are there. Like below two values are this one -90 it could be, and -50. You see this -50, and the above one is 100, and this may be 30. So it has considered 20 in the range only. Was I was talking about this? This is called as a whisker. So I will talk about more about this one when we will be doing the plotting. But remember one thing, these box plots give you the 5 points. Okay, now it will be more clear. 5-point summary. So it's like the low value you will get, the upper value you will get, the upper range, and then you will get the median value. Okay, and then you will get the first quantile and the third quantile value. First quantile and third quantile value. So these dotted lines are called as what? Whiskers. Whiskers of the box plot. Now it is a I mean, from the study it is there that the upper whisker is what 1.5 times of the third quantile, and the lower whisker is 1.5 times of the 25% quantile. Okay, so that's why if you see over there the interquantile range, and what I did, upper boundary I said with 1.5 times the Q3. Clear now? So this is the whisker, and if you see the after this whisker, there are the outliers. Here also the outliers are present. So that's why I selected that 1.5 times that Q3, and the below one minus 1.53 into Q2. Okay. So this box plot will give you the 5 points. It's a summary like the low point, the max point, the Q1, Q2, and the mean value, the middle one. So once I plotted this box plot and came to know that there are the outliers are present in this one, we can fire on the entire column and we can get that whether the entire whether it has the outliers or not. And then what we can do, we can fire one query. Let's say sample. I'm creating one variable. So outliers remove. Which variable I am creating, and in this I'm going to substitute with the example values only those values which are not there in the example. Some code I am writing. Okay, let's say %in % and box plot dot stats, and here example out. So what exactly I have written over here, that please give me that value only which are not there in the box plot dot stat. Okay, in that example. So only those values you pick, which are not the outliers in the box plot. Yeah. So those values it will take and it will put inside this particular variable. So this %in % is just like a pipeline kind of a command where we are inserting that particular values which are not there in the box plot dot slats, and they are not called as the outliers. Those values we are considering, and this not will give you that those values are not there in the example. So those values only we will going to consider. We will put inside this particular example underscore out dot remainder removal variable. And then if I run this and if I try to print example out removal, so if you see this one, it has considered 20 also, right? It has considered 20 also. So in this case, it has considered 20. In the previous interquantile range, it was giving more accurately, even 20 it got removed. But we cannot say that 20 is exactly the outliers or not, right? But if the large amount of data set is there, then it can be more clear. But anyway, it can be treated as an outlier because after 10, there is suddenly jump of 10 more and we are getting what 20. But if more data is there, then the prediction can be more easy. Anyway, this box plot has included this 20 also. So, but what is the important point is we got removed that -90, 100, and -50 value. Those are the dominant outliers were there. So whether all of you understood this? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just show you the code. Yeah.
Can you explain the box plot again?
Yeah. This one, right?
Yes, sir.
So this box plot shows the 5-point summary of your any data. So what 5-point summary is there? For example, if you see this box, in the box, the lower line is there, that is called as the first quantile. The upper line is called as the third quantile, and the middle line, this is the dark line, is called as what? The mean value. Okay, mean and mid. See, once we'll fire the quantile command, we are getting that quantile 1, 2, and 3 and 4, right? So that's what here we will get, and 1 is the mean value. So this is the mean value, this is the Q3, and this is Q1. The lower, this particular value is what your the mean value, and this value is the max value. And the dotted line which you can see, by which the mean and max value are connected, that is called as the whiskers of the box plot. And it is there that the upper whisker is length, I mean it shows that how far this the upper one is separated from the lower mean value. So it exactly will going to give you the 5-point summary. So on any particular column you can fire this particular command, and you can it will also show you if outliers are present in that particular column or not. Directly it will show you. And then if outliers are present, you can deploy certain strategies to remove those outliers. So with the help of boxplot also you can remove, or with the help of interquantile range also you can remove the outliers. So in the interquantile range, what we basically do, we calculate this upper range and we calculate this lower range, and we fix our data within this particular range only. That's why we multiply with this upper quantile with the 1.5 times, we are setting the upper limit. Similarly to the lower quantile, the first quantile we are subtracting, sorry, to Q2 we are subtracting, that is the first quantile only, we are subtracting 25% wala, we subtracting from there 1.5 times the interquantile range value, and we will get the lower boundary. So once we'll set the upper boundary and lower boundary, and whatever data comes between that particular boundary, we'll going to select only those data in our program. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is for the today's session. A lot of things we have discussed in today's session, and I'm sorry yesterday I could not upload the video, but today I will upload after the session. Today's session also and yesterday's session also video I will upload together. And then you have the entire week. Okay, you have the entire week, and you all must practice first of all these things. And I will give one assignment to all of you. One assignment, simple assignment, and you can just analyze that, and you can solve it, right?
Yeah.
I'll just
So
stop.
also, can you share that presentation, please?
Yeah, I could not hear